In this video, we're going to practice relating a quadratic function with its graph. So in our notes, we have the graph of a quadratic function shown. Which function is best represented by this graph? So when I look at this graph, there's a few things I want to recognize. I really want to focus on these x-intercepts, which are the solutions, which are the zeros of the quadratic graph. So if I was looking for an equation that matches, I can take my calculator and graph the answer choices. Y equals negative x squared. Let's see here. Let me just move my minus 1x minus 6. So once I graph that equation on my calculator, I can see it appear, and automatically I need to recognize that this graph is facing down, this parabola is facing down. I'm looking for my graph to face up. So that negative in front of x squared is an indication that my graph would face down. So I could automatically eliminate that. Let's try the next equation, x squared plus 1x plus 6. So I'm going to delete the negative plus 1x plus 6. Now when I look at that graph, it is now shifted up and it's not crossing the x-axis at negative 2 and 3. There are no x-intercepts here. There are no zeros for this graph. So I know B is not the correct answer. I'm going to move on and choose another answer choice. C, x squared plus 1x minus 6. So I'm going to change this plus to a minus. And now when I look at this graph, I can click on my x-intercepts and they will darken. I can click on my vertex. It's a decimal. But if I click to see the y-intercept, I also want to focus on that. So when I look back at my answer choice, it's at negative, my graph, it's at negative 2 and positive 3. Well, this is backwards. So that's not correct. So lastly, I graph D, negative y equals x squared minus 1x minus 6. I'm going to change this plus to a minus. And now I can see that those x-intercepts line up with the graph given to me and that it crosses at negative 6 on the y-axis for my y-intercept. So D would be the correct answer choice here. And so I can click and highlight D as a correct answer choice. In my next question, which function represents a quadratic function y equals negative 3x squared plus 7x minus 3? Again, I can use my graphing calculator to check. Negative 3x squared plus 7x minus 3. And when I graph that equation, I want to automatically recognize because there is a negative in front of the 3 here, my parabola should be facing down, so I can eliminate the answer choices that have the parabola facing up. I also do want to recognize that my x-intercepts are intersecting at decimals here, and my vertex is a decimal as well. But I can identify my y-intercept to be 0, negative 3. So when I look at the two graphs left, the one graph that is crossing correctly on the x or the y-axis is G. So G would be the correct answer in this situation. So I'm not able to write on this, but you want to recognize that these are intersecting in between 1, 0 and 1, and my other x-intercept is in between 1 and 2, closer to 2, and that's what this graph indicates here. Here it does not show it ever intersecting the x-axis. So now you're going to practice a few on your own, matching a graph and relating it with the equation of a quadratic function.